Hey guys, so it's 2026 and we've taken the first trade of the year, and unfortunately here it has ended up as a loss. Alright, I've done a counter trend trade, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to run through the trade setup that I took, the steps of my analysis before taking the trade, and I'm also going to run through the key takeaways that I took from the trade as well. It's part of trading, right? You're going to lose trades, you're going to win trades. You can lose more than you win, but you can still be profitable, right? It's not necessarily about losing the trade. That's the bad part. It's how are you going to bounce back from it? Are you going to let this trade affect your next trade, or are you just going to carry on and keep trading like a top 1% trader? And if you don't know what a top 1% trader is, make sure you check out my other video of the trading playbook that just goes more into depth of how you can ascertain your mind to become like a top 1% trader. All right, let's jump onto the charts, guys. So I've put it into replay mode so I can actually break down and show you how I saw the market before and why I look to enter this trade. So now we always start on the high time frame, right? You just want to look at where price currently is sitting in the market. And over the holiday, we did have a lot of slow price action, and yeah, it is the holidays, and I didn't take any trades here. I thought I'd just sit it out, not force any trades because they didn't match any of my premises, right? They didn't match my rules and my strategy. Price did have a nice push up, and it is starting to look a bit bullish. Okay, so now I'm jumping into the charts. I'm sitting here and we see, okay, number one, we're in a current supply zone, right? Price has tapped it a tiny bit and we've come into the supply zone. If you want, you can drop down onto the 4 hour, and this marks it out nice and clean. Okay, so we're in this higher time frame supply zone, and now looking on the internal structure as well, we're looking pretty bullish here, right? This little leg here is bullish. I also want to touch on the reason why I didn't take any trades during the shutdown period quickly, because if we mark this out here, you can see that price was chopping in between these levels, right? We had a lot of liquidity, buy side and sell side liquidity sitting at these levels. You just you can't tell when price is going to take out these levels. You can see here after the holiday period, just before we start on the 5th of Jan, we've taken out a little liquidity here, small pushback down, and now a big pushback up into this supply zone. Now looking at the supply zone, yeah, what trend, the trade that I took was a counter trend trade, right? It wasn't with the trade, it was against the trade, because right now we can see that there is a trend of a bullish trend. Price is moving up, creating higher highs and higher lows. So now jumping onto the 1 hour, we can see that, yeah, we did have a little wick over here, right? I saw this as well, and I was like, okay, we did have a sweep, price pushed down pretty strong, and it's also respected this level, okay? It's come up to this sweep level, respected and pushed down. But if I'm honest, I didn't really like how deep the sweep came into the level, okay? Because ideally we'd want that sweep to come deep and then push back down. So if we play this out, I was on the 15-minute. If we play it out, we're having a bit of choppiness. And so right now I'm not in the market. I'm just letting price play. I'm watching price, seeing what it's doing. Okay, so we have a nice big push, right? And this is what I'm currently seeing on the market. Okay, so we've had this nice push up. It wasn't really a strong trap and reclaim. Okay, so we've pushed up, we've had this candle come back down. It closed above that level, but I still hadn't entered at this point. So this is the sweep that, it wasn't the strongest sweep. This is where I entered as well, and this is where I got it wrong. Okay, because we did have this close above this level, because what I liked about this was that it came in deeper. Okay, it came deeper with a lot of strength and momentum, and it had these nice wicks. And I was like, okay, this looks for a potential to go short. Okay, and this is a counter trend trade. Okay, so it's matched everything of my rules except the trend, but I'm taking a counter trend. Okay, the reason why I'm taking a counter trend is because we've had a lot of bullish momentum, right? Price at some point is going to have a bit of a retracement, and these counter trend trades are very hard to take because there's more chances of losing them. However, with these counter trend trades, there's more upside to the trade. And the reason being that is because you're catching it at the lowest point, and this trade could go for a while. And if I can give you an example. So if we have a look at this area that I've marked out, price is pretty bearish, okay? We're making bearish structure and it's come down and we've had a sweep here. So it's still bearish, we've had that sweep. And if I was to take this long from here, you can see, right? There's a lot of upside potential for this trade. However, this was a bit of a ranging market, right? We did have it come all the way back down. It was ranging, so it's not really clear because of that holiday period. But this is just a quick example that I'm showing you of how it can work, counter trend trade. But the thing is, there is a high chance of it not working out. And if you are a beginner, I suggest that you stick with the trend. It is the best way to be trading, sticking with the trend, because that is another confluence that you're adding on for the trade working out. Okay. So here, what I did is I got in a bit early. I went short over here. All right, I had my stops above here, and I just looked to target this little low here. So a quick 3.5R. All right, but if we played out straight away, we had a little bit of a push down, and that's where I thought, okay, this trade actually could work out. Right, there's potential for this trade because before we had that close of that candle, we had that little wick down there, and I got out of the trade a bit early. Once this candle closed, I got out at this level, so I didn't take the full loss because it was pretty obvious what price was going to do. And yeah, so we took that loss. It was pretty quick. There was not much I could do with moving my stop loss. It being a counter trend trade as well, it was high risk. So there's some key takeaways from this. Number one is obviously not rushing in too early. I could have waited for a bit more confirmation with this trade. We didn't have a clear close, a clear sweep, or even a trap and reclaim. So what I could have done is waited for a bit more confirmation. Key takeaway number one. Key takeaway number two is identifying that this area over here has been tapped in, and it kind of did my strategy already. Let me break it down. Because we've had price enter this zone, right? We've entered it once, twice, and then it's come up again the third time, right? So it's been in the zone for a while. It could potentially go and look for higher liquidity to target, which it did. So it's just a quick video of the first loss that I've taken for the year. And look, it's out of the way. Let's get on to the next one. And I'll have plenty more trade breakdowns coming out because obviously there was a shutdown period. I couldn't have much videos coming out, but now we're back into the trading session. So I'll have plenty more trade breakdowns coming out. So make sure you are subscribed, your notifications are on so that you can see these live trade breakdowns. Peace out.